without water. Back to you in studio for now.
All right, let's go back to the South African Human Rights Commission, as well as the Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities, that are currently releasing their findings of the investigations into the 2021 civil unrest.
I reflect. We felt uncertain, fearful for ourselves, for our loved ones, for our country. We felt the greatest sense of betrayal, that there were some amongst us who would go so far as to plot to destroy this very country we spent the past 28 years to build. Close quotes. The President is of course correct that for 30 years we have busied ourselves with creating a country which has a constitution, many laws to govern us, a government, and various public institutions. These indeed are the constructs of a state and a country. What we have not succeeded in doing is to create a nation, a concept decidedly not based on the nuts and bolts of the state, but human bonds which lock us together in the knowledge that our past, our present, and our future are indeed tied together. A nation is founded on the understanding that we are each other's keepers. A nation standing together at times of crisis and threats, in the knowledge that we can rely on one another in compassion and in solidarity. This nationhood, based on human bonds and the values of consideration, compassion, respect, we have not fully achieved. There are glimpses of it from time to time, such as when we anguished together during the recent Rugby World Cup as our team beat the odds and crossed the line with a single point in their last 3 grueling matches. Or as the ICJ delivered its judgment on our country's case this Friday past. These are glimpses of hope that we can forge a nation steeped in humanitarian ethos, and that working together we can achieve marvelous things. Yet there are terrible hardships and pain endured daily by our fellow compatriots and neighbors. Every day in our country we have people who ponder where their next meal will come from, and children who suffer malnutrition. On the other hand, there is also great excess and waste. Poverty is an indignity that gnaws at the human soul, and this indignity persists in our midst and on our watch. There is a question asked by a small charity based on the Cape Flats called Mustadafin Foundation, and it asks simply, if each of us helps our neighbor, then who will need help? The fact is, we bear the intergenerational scars of our past, when common humanity and dignity were denied to the majority of the country. Dispossession, exploitation, and exclusion were the hallmark of over 300 years of our history, where there was a hierarchy of the value of life itself, where violence was our repose. But these legacies remain lingering like a cancer, threatening the whole of the body. This is evidenced by the breakdown of traditional families where single mothers and child-headed households abound, where children prefer living on the streets rather than at home, where women who are the fount of society are demeaned in their own homes and by those who they trust, and where neighbors do not even greet each other. Employers who still pay exploitative wages to their workers especially African women, many of whom work in our homes and help bring up our children. We spend on building ever higher walls to protect ourselves from the outside menace, the other, defined as the person who dresses differently, speaks differently, and has a different tone of skin. We are all guilty of not doing enough to build bridges, to tighten the bonds of friendship amongst ourselves and create a happier, healthier nation. In such a country where the other is a menace, inferior, and deserving of shunning, this is a place where humanity and hope die. This is a place where despair and distrust flourish. Ubuntu teaches us that we cannot be safe if our neighbor is hungry, that we are not islands, but interdependent. The responsibility to build bridges and harmony amongst ourselves in our homes, in our communities, is not a task we can outsource to any government, but a task to be vigorously pursued by the governed. We understand our past and the divisions it created. What is the excuse that we will offer future generations when we are asked why these divisions persisted into our democracy? So the question is, what is the way forward, South Africa? How do we forge this nation that our beloved founder, President Nelson Mandela, described after he spent 27 years on Robben Island contemplating this very question? What is the way forward for South Africa? Since the July 2021 unrest, the South African Human Rights Commission has not only pursued the investigation into the unrest, but also spent significant time on this larger question: what is the way forward for South Africa? We are very mindful that the socio-economic circumstances prevailing at the time of the July 2021 unrest in KwaZulu-Natal in particular are replicated throughout the country. After an extensive consultation process that took us to various towns and cities and rural areas, and having had the benefit of wisdom generously shared with us by fellow South Africans, the Commission has constructed the platform called the Social Harmony Through National Effort, or as we simply call it, SHINE. SHINE puts us on the path to building a nation whose values accord with those contained in our Bill of Human Rights. SHINE calls upon all of us to do a few simple things. Firstly, practice inner dialogue or self-reflection, as positive change has to begin within ourselves. We are called upon to confront and transcend our bad habits, negative attitudes, and address our collective reliance on and repose to violence through getting real with ourselves. Secondly, SHINE requires us to initiate positive dialogue by holding regular family meetings to inspire greater harmony in our homes, to discuss with the people with whom we share life how we might create more harmony amongst ourselves. And finally, to engage in active learning of the diverse beliefs, cultures, and practices around us. It is only through learning and knowing that we can evolve from mere tolerance of the other towards truly respecting and celebrating even diversities that abound. SHINE challenges us all to make small but meaningful changes. For instance, making a national practice of simply greeting each other is a good way to start this journey. Shine requires all of us working together in a national effort to make somebody's day every day, to work to bring harmony to our lives through positive dialogue and learning. Social harmony through national effort is a matter of national priority, as it enables us to begin to develop a collective understanding of our traumas and begin the journey to really heal our wounds, thus infusing into our lives the human values of solidarity and compassion for one another. As we build a collective understanding of our pain and trauma and develop the ability to heal, we shall, through individual and collective efforts, be bringing people together in families, neighborhoods, or in the workplace. We must, all of us, be committed to becoming a nation of bridge builders and peacemakers. Positive change in itself, in the home and in our relationships with each other are the real foundation of a truly great nation, steeped in deep traditions of human rights. We know that by working together we can achieve anything, including avoiding and preventing further events such as occurred in July 2021. If each of us steps up to the plate, who can stop us forging the greatest of nations? Shine has been designed by the South African Human Rights Commission to answer the big question of what is the way forward for South Africa? No matter how poor, how wealthy, no matter where life has taken you, no matter your gender, your age, your belief, every person in this blessed land can be part of the national effort aimed at building bridges. Together we can shine the way forward to the caring country that Madiba conceived of. It is poverty and disharmony that are the enemy, and to eradicate both. The joy of this is that it is possible. We simply must want to experience and live in this caring and compassionate society that Madiba described for us. He called on us to continue his long walk, and he advised us to keep on course and that we dare not tarry. Together, under the Shine banner, we can reignite the urgency of Madiba's quest for the sake of ourselves and for the sake of our children. Through small efforts on our part, each of us can build this country of giants whose ethos is compassion, a country in which a humane or human rights culture can flourish. You need nothing more than to decide to be part of the national effort to bring about peace and harmony. Development and prosperity, human rights, and all good things can only flourish under such conditions. The Shine Pledge is available on the website of the South African Human Rights Commission at sahrc.org.za, and we encourage everyone to go online and sign up to the Shine Pledge. This then is ultimately the recommendation of the South African Human Rights Commission addressed to every person who hears this message. What is your response to the question, what is the way forward, South Africa? Nkosi kakhulu, and thank you for your kind attention.
The Judicial Conduct Tribunal hearing into